Hi everyone, it's Angeline here at etrailer, and today we'll be taking a look at our Rhino-Rack Roof Rack System with the 49-inch long Vortex Aero Crossbars and the towers and custom fit kit for naked roofs right here on our 2015 Chevrolet Cruze. So if you have your Cruze, you know that your options for storage or aftermarket accessories might be a little limited. So honestly, the easiest way is to get a roof rack on your vehicle if you want to carry really cool items like rooftop boxes, kayaks, or even roof-mounted bike racks. So what we're going to take a look at today is our Rhino-Rack Roof Rack System, which is going to be one of the easier roof rack systems to install on naked roofs, and this specific one is going to be the ideal length. When I say ideal length, that's the recommended length from the manufacturer, in our case Rhinorack. So for a sedan, you actually don't want too much overhang because as you enter into your car, you don't want to hit your head around or against the crossbars. But if you want to carry more items, I actually installed a kit with longer crossbars. That's going to be the 54-inch long kit. So speaking of overhang, let's take a look at that. And it's going to be a little bit different depending on your front or your rear crossbars. But from the tower to right before the end cap, ours says 2¼ inches of overhang in our rear crossbar. So if you have items that have clamps that go around the crossbar, you could possibly clamp them around here. Just note that if you want to fully maximize your space, go ahead and use T-Track mounted accessories. Now another measurement is going to be roof clearances, and that's actually going to be two different numbers. The first number is the height from the top of the roof to the bottom of the crossbar. So right here it sits at about 3 inches. So if you have, let's say, a roof box with a clamp that goes around, some of them have U-bolts and you're just threading bolts underneath your crossbars, you want a good amount of clearance. And 3 inches here is perfectly good for that clearance. Next measurement is going to be the height added. So from the top of the roof to the top of the crossbar, ours sits at 4½ inches. So this is going to be where your accessories sit. If you're carrying skis and snowboards, especially those with extra large bindings, you want to make sure that if you don't have enough height, you get accessories that add height. Here actually you would have pretty good clearance. Just be mindful of your antenna in the back. Since this is going to be a naked roof rack, you actually don't have any option when it comes to where you can install your crossbars. You have to follow specific measurements, so make sure to stay tuned for that process where I show you how to do that. But our crossbar spread is going to be about 27 inches. So if you have accessories that require specific crossbar spread, keep that measurement in mind. Also note the way that this curves on our Cruze because of where it's installed. You're going to have a little bit of a tilt forward on your front crossbar and pretty level on your rear crossbar. If that's going to be a big issue for you, let's say you're carrying around kayaks, keep that in mind. Try to get some with spacers to compensate for the angle. So this roof rack system does have a weight capacity of 110 pounds. But remember, when you are thinking about weight capacity, be mindful of your actual roof weight capacity. So add up the weight of your cargo, the weight of your accessory, the weight of your roof rack system, and make sure that does not exceed the Cruze's weight capacity. So these are going to be the Vortex Aero Crossbars, and what that means is, if you remember in the older days, there used to be just round or square crossbars. When you were going down the highway, they were really noisy, really loud, and then aero bars were invented to help reduce that wind drag and wind noise. So you can see here how it's tapered at the end, and then you also have the Vortex strips on top to help guide that wind through. Speaking of Vortex strips, when you turn that key and open up the end cap, you now have access to your T-channel. So you lift these strips up and then you can mount your T-Track mounted accessories. I think this is the only con of the Rhino-Rack Roof Rack system because you do have to cut your Vortex strips around your accessories. So my personal thoughts about this Rhino-Rack Roof Rack system is the 49-inch long bars are a pretty good fit for the Cruze, where you still have a good amount of space, but not too much where it's cumbersome. Now, if you do need more space, check out my video with the 54-inch long crossbars, which will be longer crossbars for a lot more accessories. Now, in terms or comparing it with other brands though, the Rhinorack is what I consider the easiest one to install, just because it's very simple. You just put your clamps, you put your hooks together. The downside for it being easy to install though is you don't have that much adjustability. So because of that, you do have this curve towards the front. If you want to remedy that, maybe take a look at the Yakima roof rack for naked roofs instead. That's a little bit more complicated, but then that also adjusts the tilt to adjust for the tilt of your vehicle. So you have your different pros and you have your different cons, but hopefully this video helped guide you through that process. It isn't that difficult to put a roof rack system on your car, so I want to make sure you get the best one. So installing your roof rack can be kind of tricky, especially once you have a naked roof like this. Now the good news is that the Rhino-Rack Roof Rack is probably the easiest one to install. So that's what this video is for. We'll go through that process and I'll show you how to do this. We will start by installing our front crossbar, because from there you can get the measurements for the rear crossbar. So first you need to set up your fit kit. So underneath your hooks you're going to have a number, and that helps you figure out what goes in the front, what goes in the back. So for the front crossbar, we want the hook that's 145, and that's going to be paired with a pad that's going to be M416. So setting up our tower, we first use the foot plate, and you're going to want the arrow pointing out, and then on the foot plate you put the pad. So that arrow is also pointing out and fits onto the foot plate. With both towers now set up, we're going to put them onto our crossbars, and we don't need to put the hooks on just yet. That goes on once you have them on the roof. So this fits right into the track underneath your crossbar. And now we're going to place this on our roof. So there really isn't a tapered portion of your crossbar, but what I like to do is just to get the Rhinorack logo facing the front, and then make sure that this is carefully set on there with the rubber portion keeping that padded. So you're going to have a measurement for where you're going to place your crossbars, and it's going to be 13 inches and 3/8 inches. So you're just going to line that up with your arrow, measuring from the seam of your door. Do that on both sides. Once you have that in place, and don't forget to check for overhang too, that's when you tighten down your crossbars if you have not already. So then here we have our hook, and this is going to fit right around that door. Then you're going to put that bolt through. You may have to hold it from the back just to get it threaded on the first time. Lightly thread it. You're going to continue tightening it down with the included Rhinorack tool, but this is very important. Make sure to evenly tighten it on each side. What that means is I would tighten it down maybe 60-70% on this side, then I go on to the other side, continue tightening it there, go back and forth until they're fully tightened down. We have this torque tool, and what that means is that as we turn this and you put weight on the end of that lever, once it flattens out, that's how you know you have enough tension in that bolt. So if you've double checked your measurements and you've installed it properly, then you can even slam your door on your hook, no problem at all. Now do the exact same thing for your rear crossbars. Once you double check that all 4 towers are nice and secure, your hooks are tightened down to 4.5 Newton meters, then your final step is to put the end caps on. So there's going to be an end cap for your crossbars that uses the Rhinorack blue tool. Then there's the end cap for your towers. So ours just fits right in there like a door with a hinge. You get your key, you lock it, and then that secures it. Just double check that all of them are nice and good, and you're ready to load this up and hit the road because you're done with the install. And that was a look right here at our Rhino-Rack Roof Rack System with the 49-inch long crossbars, our towers, and custom fit kit for your 2015 Chevrolet Cruze. My name is Angeline, and I hope you enjoyed the journey.